Alright, now we're going to try this again. Welcome everybody to Sawdust Talk tonight for Wednesday, April 12th. We got an awesome show tonight. David Miller with DMiller Designs is joining us, and Kamani and Braden are going to be my co-hosts. Hey, look at that, now everybody's piling in and I can see chat. Everything is working the way it's supposed to, which is just delightful. Alright, let's get everybody in here, and we will wave to folks and say hello. And now we got one. All right, that's Braden. Oop, did I accept you? When Kamani gets in here, we will get him in here. Hey, look, a fellow Temecula person is here. Maybe. Awfully dark. I see you. Look at this.
I'm here.
The internet is a wonderful place full of mystery and excitement and borderline usable internet connections. So, look at that. We got Idaho in the house. Kyle's here. Ooh, Kyle Hayden's here. Look at this. Man, Lee's here. Holy smokes. All of the cool kids are showing up at once. That's exciting. Let's see if we can get Kamani in here and David, who I am waving to. So I'm going to say, David, why don't you send a request to pop on? We'll get you in here. And when Kamani shows up, we will start rocking and rolling. But we get that like 20-second delay where he can press all the buttons he wants, but nothing happens. Anything new and exciting going on for you, Braden?
No, I'm arguing with Amazon, and I don't think that I'm winning. I ordered some stuff for a build that the tracking number says it shipped, and then doesn't exist. It's just out there, probably on the side of some road.
It's all part of our clever plan to make things more complicated than they need to be.
I guess it's that internet
I know,
thing you
mystery and wonder, right?
I should have gone to Home Depot. It's like
Oh
3
man, do
minutes away from
I have a story about the Home Depot, because I visited the Home Depot last weekend 6 or 7 times during my quest to replace a toilet in a powder room. And it was a comedy of errors. And as we wait for Kamani to get in here, I'll fill you guys in on the details. But pulling a toilet's relatively easy, right? A couple of bolts, a little bit of grunting. Look at all these cool kids, everybody here. I pull the toilet up. A handful of tiles come with it. Okay, cool. A couple of tiles, stick them back down. No biggie. But with the tiles comes a fair bit of the cement subfloor float. So now I got to learn how to patch the cement subfloor before I can stick the tiles down that are from the 80s and don't really exist anymore. So I had to get a diamond blade and cut custom shapes of tile to go around a toilet flange so that I could then wait for the concrete to dry and then wait for the grout to dry and then get my toilet in. And then I got it in. I thought everything was golden. And I'm getting ready to attach the feed line to the toilet, and because I moved to a comfort height toilet, my feed line was this bit too short, and so I'm in the home stretch and cursing every quarter mile as I drive to the depot to get my slightly longer supply line. So if you guys have ever had a weekend where you end up at the depot 5, 6, 7 times, just know you're not alone. And that I've sworn every quarter mile along with you. And that's my story.
Got it.
All right, so now that everybody's here, the time is now 10:04. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? I'm TJ with TJT Workshop. I do a good bit of woodworking. Most of it involves spinning it really fast on this machine here and stabbing sharpened steel into it. Do a little bit of metal, do a little bit of 3D printing. I am based in St. Louis, Missouri, and I will be your host for tonight. Braden, do you want to introduce yourself, and then Kamani, and then we'll hand it over to Dave? David?
Doesn't matter. Whatever works.
Both.
Davi works too, yeah.
David?
Perfect.
I'm Braden with Little Bug Woodworking. I will do a little bit of anything, at least once
to
when it comes to
woodworking.
woodworking. So do a little bit of CNC, and yeah, well, you know, $20,
Yeah,
$20 is
gotta pay the bills.
So this, after that comment, this is probably my last time on Sawdust Talk. So let's make it a good one.
No. All right. I'm Kimani with Van Stray Designs. I do kind of like Braden, but not like Braden. A little bit of everything. So CNC, woodworking, furniture, epoxy, 3D printing. Haven't gotten to metal or lathe work yet, but it's on the radar.
Very
So
cool.
yeah.
Cool. Mr. Miller, care to talk about yourself a little bit? Let us know who you are.
Sure. My name is David Miller. I'm with DMiller Designs. I am based out of Temecula, California, which is right kind of in the middle of San Diego and Los Angeles. There's a bunch of great makers out here, so I'm fortunate to have a really great community around me. I do woodworking, sort of. I do more content creation and trying to show individuals different types of tools or methods, and maybe will help speed up the process. I'm a union electrician by trade, so I work between 60 and 65 hours a week. And then I have 3 small kids and a wife, so there's not a ton of time out here for me. So when I do get into my shop, I kind of have to be super productive to try to get anything done. So that's kind of my goal.
That's very cool. Speaking of super productive, you show a little bit of your electrical work here and there, right?
Yeah.
But how are you managing the time? Do you book it with your family, or do you just wait until the kids are in bed, or what's the secret for you to get shop time?
It's a balance. Through Instagram, you can kind of portray anything, right? And you can kind of show that you're in the shop a lot. I'm probably out here maybe 2 days a week for a few hours, and I try to cluster a lot of things together. And so I'll pump out a lot of reels at once. People will notice that a lot of my stories are more of like Saturday mornings and then maybe some Sunday mornings. But during the week, I don't really do a whole lot of stories just because I don't have a lot of time. By the time I get home, we usually have either, Taekwondo or soccer or Girl Scouts or dance or something to go to. So me and my wife split up, and then we get back home. We try to eat some dinner together as a family, which I think is important. And then if everything else kind of works itself out and the stars align, I can come out here for an hour or so and maybe try to film something or just get on a live and just talk to some people. So it's kind of my balance.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Braden, what you got
family,
going on over there?
Family always comes first. Yeah.
I wanted to ask a non-woodworking question. David, did you?
Well, it was Easter.
You're looking very.
Yeah, it was Easter, so my wife sent me and my son off to go get a fade. So I try to get that every couple weeks. Try to keep it clean. I figure when I get a haircut, I look slimmer, so I'm always trying to keep that nice and short. It's not really working too well, but I try.
Yeah, I shave my head, and
it just doesn't help
at a certain
anymore.
point,
Yeah,
it doesn't help. So I am going to write down though. Got fresh haircut for
got it.
Sawdust.
Got it.
In the show notes. All right, Kimani, what do you got going on down there? Oh, you're down here for me, so.
Oh. Okay. Not much. I have not been in the shop much this week. The weather's been kind of crappy, so I've kind of stayed close to home. And Wednesdays are my day to travel into work, so I definitely didn't get much today. But I have been working on some 3D plans for some stuff I'm working on for my Maker Collab project. So just building up that, last minute motivation to get that strong push out this weekend so I can get stuff done and shipped out to my partner.
That is awesome. This is just a reminder also to all of the cool kids in the chat. Looks like 32 of you at this exact moment in time. There's a little question box down here in the bottom, and if you want to ask Mr. Miller any questions, we will do our best to field them before the end of the show. My next question for you, sir, is What's stopping you from getting a lathe?
Space. Well, one, I'm kind of a neat freak, so I know the lathe has a lot of things happening with it. I'm sure I could figure out dust collection, but honestly, it's space. We have our garage is set up where there's a two-car garage going this way and one going this way. My wife's car and 37 bikes and 42 scooters and everything else kind of takes up that side, and I get the smaller end. So there's just not enough room for it. Eventually, when we get a bigger house or just a bigger shop, I would like to have one, but for right now, it's just not in the cards.
Just get rid of your table saw. Nobody uses
No one
those
needs
things,
those anymore,
right?
right?
Nobody uses a table saw. You got track saws galore, right?
Yeah, that's all I need. Yeah.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah. But yeah, it really boils down to space.
That's cool, man. But yeah, I will tell you, it is the most fun you can have with your pants on in the shop. Like, this is a PG show. I can say that, right?
That's cool. Yeah, I watched Trevor from Madeira Designs. He just tears it up on his, and it makes me want one for sure, but it's just maybe a little baby one. I can make some pins or something, but that's all I really have room for.
Yeah.
It's a gateway drug.
It's a gateway drug. So you start with pins, and then next thing you know, you're like, well, I need table legs now. So
you already probably have a baby one. I mean, end of the day, you just get an electric drill and you put a rubber band on the trigger.
That sounds like a reel
baby
right there that someone needs to make ASAP.
So you've blown up on social media fairly quickly. I'm looking, you have 71.6 thousand followers right now. With only like 1 or 2 hours in the shop each week, I just kept scrolling through all your reels. What do you think the magic sauce is that helped you grow so quickly?
Everybody a lot of people hit a sweet spot during summertime of 22 where reels just did well, right? And there was a lot of reels that just didn't have a lot of thought into it, and they just took off. I had 2 or 3 reels where there was just he's gone.
All right. We'll figure it out.
I had 2 or 3 reels that were, 4 seconds long that were 3D printed items from Pete that all I was doing was putting a track saw on, my garage door, or I was hanging a clamp or something, and they hit millions of views, right? So I think I just hit a sweet spot from there, and then just consistency. I think I posted every day for about 1.5 years. So I think that part helps. I think overall Instagram has kind of took a dump over the last, 4 or 5 months. And it's been hard to stay motivated with that. But luckily there's a great community within Instagram. So if you just focus on the people that are your friends and you're making reels for them, then it all just kind of works itself out.
That's excellent.
Hey, you're back.
And look, it's magic.
I heard every word of that. I mean, you were there and it just stopped working. So anyway,
that's crazy.
Mystery and wonder.
I think it's just a lot of luck and then consistency, and it kind of just works itself out from there.
All right. Kimani, what's going through your mind right now?
Dave Miller, the man with a beard is soft as like snow clouds. I've been waiting on that to say that all day. So our buddy Bernie, who is probably still sitting in traffic, had a question for you. Well, he had 2. Brayton hit on the first part, and you kind of talked about this already. So he wanted to know, since you did blow up, how you manage your social media, with the speed that you kind of blew up. And the other question was, what is your favorite build and what build challenges you the most?
So the first question with managing kind of the Instagram wave of things, and that's kind of how I look at it. It comes in waves. And when you're writing a good one, it's crazy. And there's blue boxes popping up like crazy, right? There's a couple hundred a day or 1,000 a day, and there's messages, and it becomes overwhelming, but that wave quickly crashes. And when it crashes, you realize you have all kinds of time on your hand. So it becomes easier from there. But when you're peaking in the middle of like 2 or 3 reels hitting and there's a lot going on, and you're kind of managing the good comments along with the bad comments, because they kind of go hand in hand, it becomes a lot. But again, you just focus on the people that you know that you can rely on. You know, when it gets crazy, I'll call Luke, or I'll call Ben from Conderosa or something, and I'll just talk, you know, and it just becomes a lot easier. I sit in a lot of traffic. California has really bad traffic, so I'll get an hour of therapy a day just talking to one of them, and everything just worked itself out. Yeah.
Nice.
Build wise, I just did one of those waterfall mitered edge shelf like mantles, and it was kind of intimidating, to be honest. I had never done one, and it was a 7-foot walnut mantle made out of walnut, so there was a lot of cost associated with it, and so I just wanted to make it perfect, and it was for someone in our community that we all know, and I wanted to make sure it was perfect for her. So I had a lot of stress with it, but once I got all the cuts down and I figured out how to do that whole folding method with the glue, and it worked itself out. But man, it was a little stressful. Yeah.
So, and when you say folding method with the glue, for those people who are learning or haven't, what exactly is a folding method? I don't know if you guys follow
Chris from Dunkwoods. Solid dude, and he's actually local to me out here. He does a ton of videos on that miter fold method, where he does a lot of shelves. So he'll take like 3 pieces of wood that are cut out of 45, and he'll fold them together, and then he'll tape them with the glue, and it just kind of holds itself there. Your miters have to be tight, but
got you.
Yeah. And then once you get it glued up, you kind of flip it over, and if your miters aren't perfect, you can take like a screwdriver and just kind of rub those miters together, and it's like magic. It's crazy how well it worked, because there was a couple that were, it kind of rolled on me a little bit. I just took that on there and rolled it, and it's like it never happened. So yeah, but that mantle is installed in a home, and I'm glad it's out of here and it's done, and it's one less thing to stress me out. Yeah.
So how would you describe a dream project? Something that if money were no object, or tools were no object, or time or space wasn't a problem, what would be a dream project of yours to achieve?
Pretty much, if money wasn't a thing and space wasn't a thing, it would pretty much be like anything that Mike Coffey does every single day. Like any of those tables that he makes, or the chairs that he's making, or just anything that's coming out of that shop would be a dream for me to be making myself. But I just don't have the room, and I don't have a lot of those tools or his knowledge to get that out. But that would be top of my list right there.
Don't worry about it. Mike YouTube's everything.
You know what's funny is today our refrigerator broke, right? Completely, I'm just derailing this whole thing, but our refrigerator broke, and instantly I went to YouTube, right? And there's like 300 videos on exactly what's wrong with my refrigerator. I'm like, oh, this is great. And like 10 were not in English, so I kind of scrolled through those, but I found one with a dude I could relate to, and he showed me how to fix it. So it was great. Yeah.
That is the beauty
YouTube
of YouTube.
University taught me everything that I know about this thing. So
Yep. And also what Tyler just said from Temecula Yard Games, pretty much a dust-free shop would be my dream. Just because I have a lot of mental problems with like things being clean, and everything has to be like set a certain way. So that would be a dream.
Yeah. Don't get a lathe. Nope. I mean, you can see over this shoulder, like that's probably gonna like make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. That's just a flat surface. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, the fridge that went out was our garage refrigerator, and the first thing that I called the repair guy first, and I'm like, hey, this isn't working. He was like, was there a lot of dust in your garage? I'm like, no. Why? Why would you ask me such a thing? Like, who have you been talking to? Obviously, you don't follow
How
me.
dare
My
you,
butt's very
sir?
clean.
So, I have a question. So to me, currently, you are the
Hey,
flush
so just
trim
real
king.
quick, every
So,
single video, no matter what I post, Luke will comment something about being flush. For like 6 months now, no matter what I post, it'll be like, oh, that's really flush, Dave. He's just being such a smartass about it. Yeah.
oh yeah, but that's Luke. That's but with that in mind, I'm about to get my first official router table. So, do you have a collection of flush trim bits? Do you have a favorite, and have you named them? So, like when you have a big heavy duty job, does Dolores come out and take care of the
So I
heavy
have
work?
Barbara.
Or like how does that
the
work?
51178 Armada tool.
Okay.
I love that freaking flush trim bit. It's beefy. She can get through anything, right? And that's the one I go to. It's 99% of the time in my router table. I don't take her out. I don't mess with her. That's her space.
Darla.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, just checking.
And then I just
Deborah?
have a
Darla?
collection
Barbara.
of handheld.
No,
I have a
Barbara.
collection of handheld routers that.
Yeah.
So I'm lazy to a point, and so I'll buy a router if it means I don't have to change out a router bit. So every one of my routers has a specific bit in it that I use the most, and so those just kind of live in there. That's kind of how it goes. But yeah, anything flush trim. I'm on a tool and tools today that they'll send me different ones, and to this day, the 51178 is just, it's hard to beat.
Once my table and stuff gets here, I'm gonna hit you up and remember that number because
I remember it because it's in so many of
my
my videos. When I put it into the description, it just comes right out now.
Oh, yeah, come on.
But yeah,
just make sure you just get yourself a Bertha and you'll have no problems.
Oh yeah, yeah. Anything named Bertha
business.
handles business. So,
Yeah.
you know, I may have to like make a shelf for them and like put
That's
little
a freaking
name
great
tags
idea.
under them.
Again,
And what kind
that's great content right there. I can't wait to see the reel. Yeah.
what
It's gonna
kind of router is living under your table?
It's the Bosch 1617.
Cool.
Yeah.
That seems to be what all the cool kids are sticking under their tables. So
It's just a reliable, good router. You know what I mean? One of those ones you don't have to really think too much about. Just it's always there. So.
That's the one I was told to get. So when I asked, I was told to get the 60 the Bosch and to get the ahead and spend money to get the Jessam lift.
I built this table and I just at the time I was still new to everything, so I just got like a Craig router lift and it works really well. I don't do a whole lot of like micro adjustments and stuff like that. I just want to be able to crank it from the top and good to go. But yeah, I know there's a lot of really good lifts out there.
I feel so validated also having a Craig lift. So this is a good moment for me.
It works. I mean, when I want to raise up the bit, it raises up the bit. When I want to lower it, lowers it. So it's good for me.
When I was looking at router lift tables, everything I found said that the Craig is made in the same factory as the Jessam anyway. It's just rebranded. So
that makes total sense too. A lot of these, if you put them side by side, just change a color on it, they all look pretty much the same.
definitely. So what is next on the docket? Are all of your projects top secret, or is there something in particular that you're excited to share with the rest of the cool kids in the audience tonight?
No, I mean, a lot of my stuff just comes from people on Instagram that order things off me. A lot of it is repetitive. A lot of it is template work. I use a lot of, like Mike Coffee, I use a lot of his templates. Kiwi Woodshop or Workshop, Kiwi Woodshop, I believe. I use a lot of his. So yeah, there's a lot of that type of stuff. My wife wants a walnut dog bowl holder, so that's on the list of things to make. It seems like anytime she wants something, it kind of gets elevated to the top of the list. So that might be this weekend. I think we have 6 soccer matches this weekend. So sometime in the middle of all that, I'm going to start on that.
What kind of bougie dogs do you have that need walnut dog bowl holders?
Dude, my dog is my best friend in the whole world. He is a sheepadoodle. Okay? Half sheepdog,
question answered.
half poodle. He's so freaking smart. I love that dog. But yeah. Plus, my wife just Let me explain. She didn't say she wanted a walnut. She wants a dark color wood. So I just assume that means walnut.
How all of our heads just immediately kind of tilt to the left and not. Okay,
yeah. That's all I do with her. I go, do you want a light wood or a dark wood? Let's go dark wood. Walnut it is. Got it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Come on, you got a question hiding down there? You're here now for me.
Oh,
So
I did, and then I lost it. I think I remember. Are you ever actually going to use your CNC?
Well, it's more of
for
a
anything
drying
other than
rack. If we're gonna go there, I just
Drying
don't have
rack.
the brain power.
Sorry, yes.
I've never come off as somebody that's super smart, and I don't know. I just can't wrap my head around like the whole G code thing. I know I can figure it out. I just don't. And so I think that's why, like, when I found a laser and figured out how easy light burn was, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna stick with this because this is like super easy, and I can do it real fast.
Yeah,
It's practically
I've
the
heard that
same
before,
thing,
Connie,
though.
from,
It's
numerous people, tons. I just haven't done it. The CNC behind me has been living there for 2 years. I flattened the board, and I think that's all I've ever done with it. I'm not proud of that, but I feel like we're here in the trust tree. We're in the nest. We can really just open up. There's not really many people listening. It's us going and letting it all out. So there it is right there.
look, I think as far as CNC machines go, sometimes it's better to be looking at it than looking for it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
if there's a maker meetup that I'm able to attend down in your area, if Surf Prep has another thing, we will have a friend intervention. We will carve at least one thing on CNC to see if it
all I need.
helps
I just
break
need
that
somebody
wall.
To be gentle with me on my first time, and I feel like that could be you.
Yeah, I mean, just let me stroke the beer a little bit. I'll carve whatever you want.
Condition it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, soak it little bumble shoots in there.
Sponsored by Total Boat Wood Honey.
Yeah. No, I have some of that. I've never used it. I have some of that. I've never tried it.
I'm sensing a reoccurring theme here of things that you have that you've never actually used.
Just the CNC.
and wood honey.
Yeah.
But it's there.
So, two things.
Maybe I have.
Opposite spectrum.
It's kind of low. Maybe I just don't remember.
Did you know you can drink it?
Yeah, you can also eat, was it walrus oil? It's lackluster. There was a live getting on a year ago where we all tasted all the various flavors of theoretically edible wood treatments, and they all taste like coconut oil.
Well, it's lackluster until you buff it, and then it has quite the luster.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I'm sorry.
Nice.
I'll see myself out.
No, that's good. That's good. Okay. So you have the knowledge and the know-how to install a sub-panel in 240 volt power and be able to drive all of your tools with extreme levels of chooch. But it appears that a majority of your tools are running 120. Is this a choice where you just thought, I don't know, I don't want to bring my work thoughts into my therapy room? Or
no, it's just a lot of the tools I have came wired at 120. The only thing I have in here that's 240 is my heater. And I'm in Southern California, so I only use it like maybe 3 weeks out of the year. So, but no, I mean, I wired this.
But when those 3 weeks hit,
honestly, that's probably the majority of the DMs I get are electrical related. It's crazy. And I'm probably like Lee from Regal Street's the same way. I get so many questions on how to wire the garage or how to rewire something, or they're going to add a sub panel. What size wire do they need? I get that at least once or twice a day.
10-3.
There you go. 30 amp, you're good to go. Yep.
But you just use speaker wire for everything. It's flexible, so it's easy to use.
Speaker wire and tape, it really works well for a lot. I mean, it could start on fire eventually, but that's more like tomorrow's problem.
Just gotta change.
It just smokes a little. It just smokes a little, but only when you use it, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's like
Right.
that's like Bourbon Moth's video with the rags that are all starting on fire. I am completely paranoid about that now. Everything I do, it just goes in the on the driveway to go away from my house. Everything.
I watched that and immediately ordered the fire can, and I've been working on a big giant desk, and so I've been buffing Rubio, and these just buffed Rubio rags are going in the fire thing, and then I dispose of it every day. There's not even enough on there to start on fire, and that video's got me paranoid. So
that and the batteries blowing up on the charger. I think it was another Woodshop podcast I was listening to, and they were talking about batteries blowing up or something. I'm like, man.
Oh yeah, somebody. I forget the name, but I think I just listened to that episode today. But yeah, his batteries caught on fire and he lost his shotgun down. So
came home. I came home.
I think down in Florida
on a surge protector. And now in my mind, I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn it off every night. That's the plan. Because I've had batteries charging for a year. I just forget they're on there.
Great.
Well, that seems like a plan, or put them on a smart outlet so you don't have to leave the comfort of your bed when you wake up in the middle of the night and go, shit, am I plugged in?
Yeah, well, I actually can see it.
Oh, Max and Mindy.
Camera that's in here, so I can always double check that, because when it's pitch dark in here, that's all you see is the green blinking lights and the red ones. So, but yeah, or maybe I should just take them off the charger and not be so lazy.
I don't know. It sounds like a lot of work, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if I can't figure out the CNC, I'm definitely not going to figure that out. So,
minor details. All right, so I come to visit. We do the CNC and your power switches.
You're not really.
I'm just making a
far.
checklist
You're
now.
Pacific Northwest, right? You're not super far away.
I mean, yeah, I'm in Tacoma, Washington, so I'm a train ride away.
The next time Luke's down here, Ben's right there. It'd be a good time. We'll get Tyler from Temecula Yard Games.
So yeah, there's a Portland maker meetup, and Katrina was like, "Oh, I'll just take the train down." I was like, "Train?" I lived downtown long enough to know that there is a giant train and an Amtrak that goes right through, and it just did not occur to me at all to just take a train down the coast to all these places that I want to go. So one of my goals this year is to meet more makers and stuff like that. So I went to Workbench Con, planning to go in Makers Camp, and hopefully if there's a meetup this year on the West Coast aside from the one we're planning, is to, I guess, hop a train and just head on down.
I know that they want to plan another one at Surf Prep, so that would be, maybe we can tie that all in with that.
Yeah. So, and that brings, I think you've answered this on a different, I guess we don't talk about other shows here, but you mentioned this before, that I know people have asked, hey, are you going to Workbench, or are you going to you Makers Camp or any of those? So right now at this stage with, like you said, the kids and 6 different classes and stuff like that, are you fairly just staying close to home for these events, or are you trying to, somewhere down the line go out to do some of these other long distance
I probably
events?
will eventually. And you've been to these, maybe you guys all have, but just the one we did at Surf Prep, right? And it was only for half a day. I was exhausted, mentally exhausted when that thing was done. When I was driving home, I just had nothing left, because you're on the whole time, right? And you're excited to see people, and it's go, 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 go. I just couldn't imagine doing that for 2 or 3 days. I don't know if mentally I can even do it. That's a lot. So kudos to you guys that did. I lived through your stories. You guys went hard, but I don't know if I can do that. Yeah, hard is an understatement some nights. I mean, not
not holding up a steak and shake, but I didn't go that hard, but there were times. But yeah, there are other shows that are probably less. Somebody just mentioned AWFS, which I'm planning to go visit.
What is that?
Because what is American Woodworker? I don't know what the F is for show. They'll probably tell me in the chat at the bottom. But yeah, it's basically a big convention down in Vegas. And I think it's like a lot of vendors. So it's more like a vendor thing. They do some demonstrations and stuff like that. But from what I looked at on the brochure, so I know a lot of the brands, the woodworking related brands are going to be there to kind of show off like some of their new products, upcoming stuff as furniture show is the FS stuff they haven't released yet, and then there'll be like I guess other sort of like high-end makers and brands and stuff like that. So yeah, it's like a week-long show, but there's stuff on different days. I'm really probably at this point planning to go for maybe like a day and a half, because it's Vegas, and I mean if Workbench Con doesn't take it out of you, Vegas will. So yeah, that seems like a quick like hop over, go see see some people, see a thing, and there's enough to look at that you don't have to be like on, because I know what you mean when you say like you're on, and I think Mike Coffey has said that before. It's just like you go to Workbench Con and like everybody's like shaking hand, how you doing, taking pictures, like go, and but that man doesn't sleep, so
Is that
it's fine.
Coming up soon?
June, July. It keeps popping up in my calendar.
I'm gonna hit up.
But yeah, it's June or
Prep to see if I can catch a ride with them. I bet you they're going to that.
Yeah. So June or July. Let me check my calendar. I'll bring it up later. But yeah, I mean, it seems like one of those things where you can go and maybe get a little bit more one-on-one time with some of the end of July. There you go. One-on-one with the brands and kind of meet people, but it's not as chaotic where it's a giant ongoing meet and greet for like 8 hours.
You know what? I think I might be in Vegas the end of July. Every summer we go there for like 4 or 5 days with the kids. We'll stay at like Mandalay Bay or something, and they just swim and go in like the wave pool for 3 or 4 days straight. So maybe I'll already be down there. I'm not sure.
July 25th to the 28th.
Thank you, Chad.
There you go.
So much detail.
My birthday's
so we are at
my present to myself. I'll just go.
There you go.
Very
Well,
cool.
you're in Nebraska, right?
Yeah, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot farther than me. I can drive to Vegas in 3 hours.
I cannot drive to Vegas in 3 hours, but I can fly there in about 3. So that's not so bad.
It's the same. It's the exact same thing.
So time is now 10:38, and so we need to start dipping into the question box questions. But before that, I want to kick it off with a little bit of whimsy. The other day, I was watching a Jeremy Piven movie called The Goods, which takes place in Temecula, California, for those of you who are following along. Have you ever watched it?
No, never heard of it.
Well, I believe it's on the HBO or the Netflix.
Okay. It's called The Goods. What is it, like a winery thing or something?
No, it's about a guy who's crass at every opportunity and is a ringer for used car dealerships. And he sells cars.
Okay. I'll check it out. The Goods.
Yeah. A lot of funny comedians, a lot of cameos, lots of fun. All right. So my perception of Temecula stays the same because I've never been there and it exists in a movie. Cool. Sam at Willie Pedals wants to know, when are we going to scroll together?
Oh, man. That's the other tool. So I was talking to her about that. I remember when I first got on Instagram, and there was a couple makers that I started watching. One was Coffee, and the other was, I always forget her name now, the Timber House of Timber.
Oh, House of Timber?
Scroll saw, and I'm like, I got to get a scroll saw. I'm gonna get one of those. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna make awesome stuff. And I got it, and I used it twice, and then I put it on top of that thing up there, and I never used it again because I'm like, I cannot use a scroll saw. I don't have the patience or the time. I just can't do this. So it's been up there, and then I was talking to her about it, and I think part of it was the blades I was using were just not the right ones for whatever I was working on. So she gave me all the list of ones to buy. I bought all of them. I own all the blades now, and I just have to get that scroll saw down, and I'm going to message her, and we're going to scroll.
And it'll be delightful.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just the whole moving it around, and they're just so good at it, and I'm just not good at that. So,
Do you have a bandsaw?
yeah, I love the bandsaw.
So a bandsaw is a scroll saw if you get a piece of wood that's bigger. Like it's just
But see,
the
I
whole
can
thing's
manage
bigger.
that. Yeah, and I got a resaw blade on there. I can just tear stuff up. It's the whole drilling little holes and in and out. I just couldn't do it. I want to though, and I want to learn. I want to try better. I want to be better. I want to be better. That's
Want to be better.
I
That's
just
the key.
want to be better. So.
Very cool. All right, fellas, are the questions showing up for you down there? Did you want to pick one?
I saw. Let's see if I see them. Oh, this is a good one.
I will pull it up
make it
when you start
appear.
reciting it.
Question from Fawcett Woodcraft. When was the last time you were
Are we
cleanly
talking
shaven?
neck below, or are we going neck up?
We'll start with
Okay.
neck up because it's a family
I
show.
shaved my beard about a year ago, and I came downstairs, and my wife said I look like a nerd. And so I instantly grew it back. Also, there's something weird about chins and beards, and they're really good about hiding beard or hiding chins. So I'm going to keep it for a while.
That's
The
a
other
glorious
part,
beard
no,
for just
full
1
Brazilian
year.
all the way down, like all the way.
Just hardwood floors from the chin down. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Proud of you, bud.
Summer's
You
around
come
the
to my
corner.
house.
I'm getting ready for banana hammock season right now. I had chicken and salad for dinner. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling lean, so we'll see. Yeah, it's all working itself out.
There you go.
You think because of the beard, be really hairy.
No,
Shade.
it's more of an illusion, you know. Yeah, good times here.
All right, Braden, you want to pick a question, bud?
Yeah. Here's
Ben.
Amy from Coral Way Designs. What's your absolute favorite thing to build?
Honestly, furniture when I have room to do it. I've done a lot of furniture for our home, entry tables and entertainment centers and stuff like that. And when I have the room to do it and the time, I enjoy it a lot. It's just having the room and the time is sometimes difficult. But if in a perfect world, like I said, if I had all the room in the world and all the tools, I would be building really nice custom furniture. And that could be something down the line that I can do, but for right now, that's more of a hope and a dream.
Have you considered taking over like rooms in your house? It works really well for me. My wife loves it.
Yeah, no. My wife already complains our house isn't big enough, so she already wants a new home, which I think the house is huge, but
Wait.
We don't have enough storage space for towels, I'm told. We need more. Look at him laugh because he knows. This house has no storage for towels, David. I feel like there's a lot of square footage here, but I don't know.
I think you're passing up on a really easy opportunity. The house is too small. There'd be so much more room for towels if you had a bigger shop space somewhere else. So
I agree.
I think you're passing up on a really easy opportunity to get that bigger shop you want.
Yeah, I agree. I would, and also in a dream world, I would be out of California. I would move to like Montana or something and just not have any neighbors close. I love all my neighbors. If any are watching, they're all great. But just to be able to walk outside and not see anything other than my land would be an absolute dream with a big shop on it.
Well, there's an empty lot next to my house. It's a quarter of an acre. So if you have really bad eyesight, you can just see your land and we could share a shop.
It's not anywhere near Dunlap, though, is it?
No, it's like it's like 20 minutes away. Like it's
In
so
my
far
mind,
away.
everybody lives right next to each other in Nebraska. I don't know why. Like it's just you guys are all but in the same cul-de-sac.
Well, it's because we only have the one electrical wire that just like runs down the whole city, so we all have to stay pretty close to that. It's new. We're gonna expand it.
That's good. If you need advice on the electrical, just DM me. I'm sure to help.
I don't need any advice. Just I've got plenty of speaker wire, so
Yeah.
we're good.
Speaker wire, and I've seen people use like forks, and they just throw it onto it, and it actually conducts it straight down.
Yeah. Perfect plan. Wildman Design Co. wants to know how you think the Padres are going to do this year.
How dare he brings that up? The Padres are going to be fine once they get all their players back. Right now, like they lost today to the Mets. It was tough to watch. Me and him are huge Padre fans, so they're going to win the World Series. You heard it here first. It's going to be a great year. I have been a Padre fan my whole life, which is not anything to brag about at all. And so this is the 1 year I'm coming into it like I am going to talk so much shit this entire year because this is our year. It's probably not going to pan out, but I have high hopes.
I would recommend
Good.
you not pass up the opportunity to still talk a bunch of shit anyway. Like
100%.
Yeah. No, a long shot bet pays off the highest, right? I believe in you.
I mean, that's how Dallas.
Damn.
That's how Cowboys
Boys.
fans make it through the day.
I don't want to talk about my Cowboys. I don't want to talk about them one bit. So let's just move on.
I
right,
went to the Rams Cowboys game, and all I heard the entire game was people screaming "Dem boys." I just couldn't take it no more. What about them boys? It's crazy.
All right, I got a question here. Question for everyone: track saw or table saw?
That's a great question. I love the track saw. That thing is a lot of fun, but again, there's more setup with that, right? So if I could just use the table saw and it's easy, I'll do the table saw all day. But like when I was doing that mantle, even with the Jessam, what are those things called? The Jessam ones that go on top of your fence. Yeah, that push them in.
So the
even
guys,
with that and with one of those like magnetic feather boards, I had all that set up. Even with that on those 7-foot boards, it still wanted to run a little bit on me. So I still had to break out the track saw when it was all said and done and trim off like a 30-second in the middle where it kind of went like that on me. And so at the end of the day, I still had to break out the track saw.
What track saw do you have?
I have the cordless Makita. I like it. I like it a lot. I have that. Luke made me like a little dust cover for it to go over that open hole. And then I have that no snag thing for your hose I got from like Tool Curve or something. So it works really good. It works good when I remember to turn the dust collection on. Half my videos I forget to even put it on. And then people are like, hey, remember that dust collection you owned? I'm like, yeah. I'm more worried about hitting like record than turning this stupid shit on. So sorry.
All right, Kimani, pull one out of the hat.
All right. I think this is a good one. So from Veterans Own Woodworks, trade aside, what made you get into like woodworking and content
that's
creating?
a good one. So really, I'm probably in the same boat as a lot of people where I never really did any woodworking until COVID hit. You know, with 3 kids in sports and coaching and everything I was doing with them, I didn't have a whole lot of time for anything. And then all of a sudden I had all the time in the world. Even with my job as an electrician never stopping, we never had a day off throughout COVID. It was just, you worked. It was the essential worker thing, no matter what. So, but when I got home, I would get home at 3 or 4 o'clock, and then I just had no practice, nothing to do. So I picked up like making some signs. My wife had bought some signs from a local maker here, and they were awesome. I'm like, well, I got a bunch of time on my hands. Let me figure out how to make these signs, because she was buying these signs for like $80 or $90. And I'm like, I could probably do that. So I got a Cricut, and I figured out how to make like vinyl signs, and I loved it. And so I started doing that. And then from there, my wife saw me make a few things. She's like, oh, well, could you make us an entertainment center? I could if I owned this. So then I was able to buy another tool and then another tool. But that's kind of where it stemmed. And then there was a local pastor that was in our church that was big into woodworking, and he had an Instagram page. And I remember I had an Instagram, like a personal one, and I would follow him, and he would get on like 2 or 3 times a day, and he'd do stories, and he would talk like in front of a camera. And I'm like, that is so crazy. Like, how do you just talk to strangers? That's nuts. And he's like, you just do it. So I remember I'm like, well, I'm going to try. So I started my Instagram, my woodworking page. And I remember the first story I did, I was like super nervous. I was like, I don't know what to say. And I remember I recorded it and then edited it. It's a story. I'm editing a story and I'm putting it up there and I'm all nervous. And then, 3 weeks later, I'm just doing stories and not even paying attention to what I'm even talking about, because you just get so used to being in front of the camera. But really, if it wasn't for COVID and my wife liking expensive signs and having a buddy who had an Instagram and he had enough guts to get in front of the camera that gave me the confidence to do it, I probably would have never done it. I would have just found something else to do.
So I have a follow-up question from something that you said there. When I was going through your post, I saw a post about a sign. So a Cricut being the first tool that most people get, you don't hear many people that get the Cricut as like their first woodworking tool. What do you make with it? What's that experience like?
This $99 Cricut probably paid for 80% of the stuff in my shop. I tell people all day, the best thing I own that I've ever bought is a Cricut Air, because it gave me the ability, it gave me the confidence to make things that weren't super difficult, right? It helped me kind of go into different steps of woodworking. But I would make these signs. I made a sign that said something about like those murder podcast type of things that a lot of people listen to. I forget what it said, but I made a sign that said something like that. And I sold like 200 of them. It was crazy. Like everybody wanted these signs, and I was just kicking them out like crazy. And then I just had a bunch of money in my Venmo account. So I'm like, well, I'm going to buy a planer because that looks like that's a lot of fun, and then, well, I have that now. I'm going to build a router table because I have this money and it's not affecting like our personal finances. This is like fun money. And so I'm going to do that. And it just kind of gradually went from there. But bottom of the road for me was that Cricut and learning how to make a backer, paint it, paint a stencil on there. I've always painted the stencil. I never just put like the vinyl right on the boards, and that just kind of helped me evolve from there. Yeah.
Did you have a table saw prior to that? Because you said Cricut and you said planer, and then I'm
in the middle of
the tool.
Yeah, in the middle of that is when my wife was like, I want you to build me some things. I'm like, all right. And I really didn't know what to buy. And again, I didn't have so I'm big on separating like our home finances and with everything I do out here woodworking wise. They don't ever cross, ever. Whatever I make out here, it goes back in the shop, or whatever I make off of whatever I'm doing, it stays in here. Whatever I do personally with my job, that's for my family. There's two different things there. So in the beginning, when she wanted me to make things, I didn't really want to go spend a bunch of money. So I bought like the DeWalt contractor table saw, and it worked great. And I bought a like an 8-inch cordless miter saw, like a DeWalt one also. Worked great. And I built all that stuff with it. But then once I was done, and then I started getting more into Instagram and watching all these other makers and the things that they had, it made me understand that, there's better tools for what I want to do. And then so I'm going to sell some more of these signs, or I'm going to sell more of these bottle openers that people loved. And then I'm going to buy a nicer miter saw, or I'm going to buy a saw stop. That was like a big one for me because I'm I just felt like once I bought the saw stop, everything kind of shifted a little bit. And I'm like, okay, now I got to take this a little more seriously. And then I kind of bought the bandsaw, and then I got a drum sander, and I kind of just went from there.
That's super cool. All right, so we have 5 minutes and a heap of questions, so we're going to go lightning round, okay? I'm going to rattle these off, and you're going to have to keep the answers short. You
Okay.
prepared? All right.
Go.
What kind of CNC software are you using?
Don't know.
Good answer. Which router is your favorite router?
The cordless Milwaukee.
Yes.
Cool. If you're comfortable sharing, in what city do you live?
California.
Good deal. Let's see here. How does one be able to post every day for a year and a half with only 2 days a week in the shop?
So a lot of my reels are a process reel. So one reel may be me cutting a charcuterie board out. The next one is flush trimming it. The next one is water popping it. It's several reels on the same project as opposed to putting all the process into one reel. That makes sense?
Yes, it does. The Wooden Mustache wants to know how to get his beard to be as majestic as yours.
Bumbleshoots.
Bumble shoots. All right, and your friend from the backyard in Temecula wants to know, have you taken the proper steps to get help for your tool?
Absolutely not. No. In fact, everyone
Addiction.
that I'm friends with
His
on
tool
Instagram,
addiction.
everyone I'm friends with on
Addiction,
Instagram,
sorry. Your tool
addiction.
addiction.
No, actually, honestly, I feel like I am probably the worst influence of all to people. I mean, I'm always telling people to buy tools. So I feel like I'm probably even today I found a drum sander last night I found a drum sander on Marketplace. I took a picture of it. I sent it to my buddy. He bought it today. So he got the 1938 Laguna. It only been turned on twice. Brand new, $900.
That's a screaming deal.
$900. I'm pretty sure it was a lady who hated her husband and she just wanted it gone.
Well, and it left.
I need some
Yeah.
divorcees around here,
All right.
man.
Hi, boys and girls.
I've got one good deal on Marketplace where I got the filter for my dust collector, and the lady, it was like a $200 filter for the dust right, and she sold it to me for $20 because she wanted it gone. She was tired of looking at it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we wrap up the show, typically, I like to ask our guests to provide for us a motivational thought or idea or something that you can share with the viewers that will get them excited to kick open their shop door, get out there, make some chips, make some cuts. What do you have to share with us today? What is your word or thought of wisdom?
I mean, honestly, it's don't be afraid to just try something. And I guess I shouldn't say that with the CNC behind me, but with just woodwork, I knew you were going to laugh too. With just woodworking in general or just anything, just get out there and do it. And you're going to screw up a bunch, and it doesn't matter. And don't feel like everything you do on Instagram has to be super polished. It doesn't. None of us do everything right the first time. We all make mistakes. In fact, half the time your mistakes in a reel do better than most. So there's that. But just get out there and try it. If it wasn't for a buddy of mine who had Instagram who talked in front of it one day, I probably wouldn't be talking to you guys right now.
Well, I'm glad that he did, and I'm glad that you are.
Yeah. Thank you. This is fun.
Yeah, this was a good show. The time is now 10:59, which means that we probably need to wrap this one up, boys and girls. So that means that I will see you all next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. For the 24 people that are in the audience that may not know, there's a little downward pointing arrow not too far from my finger here.
Close to it, yeah.
If you click that, it's really quick, boom, 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 to follow along if you enjoyed this evening, or you want to make sure that Mr. Miller is going to push his way towards 75,000 followers.
Who knows? I got a giveaway starting on Friday, so maybe that
77.
Oh, you should have pumped the giveaway.
Real
So
quick,
everybody listening, Dave has
I'm
a giveaway.
giving away
So follow him now, so you know what's going down on Friday.
Laser Master 2 Ortor laser starting Friday for 7 days. Check it out.
Will you
Yeah.
wire it?
Absolutely. Yes, check that out. Everybody in here, check that out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen, this was a wonderful evening. I'm going to sprinkle you with sawdust on the way out. We'll see you next week, okay?
Go get the
Yeah.
get the shop.
No,
back
I got a
and clean
scoop
it up.
shovel, man. You can't shop back this.
Friggin' lathe guys.
Bunch of weirdos.